All right, to our first story. You know, it is particularly mind-bending to realize that in a supposedly religious jurisdiction like ours, a school proprietor can be as depraved as to kill and bury a 5-year-old pupil entrusted to his care and fatherliness. A certain Abdul Malik Tanko, proprietor of the Noble Kids Nursery and Primary School at Kawana in Kano, has been arrested over the death of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar. The hapless victim was abducted at Yankaba, I hope I got that right, area of Kano. She was reportedly seized on her way home from the Islamia school in company of other girls. Now, who or what is going to save us from us, Jide?
It's just terrible that this
Look at that.
beautiful kid. You know, someone compared her beauty to that of Amina Mohammed, who is at the UN.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, she's light-skinned, just a beautiful soul, and a thoroughly depraved and clearly maladjusted fellow has decided to take the life of this little girl, and that is after he even got ransom.
I heard
He
so.
got paid, but the little girl could recognize him.
Yeah,
So
as a teacher.
yes, so they just felt, look, let me feed her with rat poison so that I can cover my...
Can only come from a depraved soul.
Yes, people do not deserve to live with the rest of us, you know, and they are, these guys are becoming madder and running riot in our society. Evil is now walking on 2 legs in our society. It's terrible.
Well, Jide, the lawyers would tell you the man deserves to have a defense. He will go to court and get defended, Paul.
Definitely will get defended, but for me it's a straight case, because if he pleads, someone like him, well, I hope he will advise himself or get advice to plead guilty, because people still plead guilty in court. So what they will just do, they will just read the facts of the matter, and if there's a plea of allocutors to be made. But in this case, he even said that, you know what he said? He said that he was owing the landlord,
indebted to the landlord.
Yes, that he couldn't pay his teachers.
Yeah.
So according to him, he got 100,000 naira instead of 6 million, and he used to settle his teachers.
Yeah.
But this little girl was not the cause of his poverty. You don't kill a kid, an innocent kid, because of your woes.
To get out of poverty. No.
You don't do that. So he deserves his day in court. He deserves the gallows.
That's what he deserves death.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
He deserves death.
Yeah.
Thoroughly, he deserves death. And, and I hope our lily-livered governors will find the courage to sign death warrants.
Which are pending all over the country.
Yes. Some of them have come out with death penalty for kidnapping. But the heart to put that pen on that document and sign it, that courage they do not have. And that's why I always say to some of our people who cherry pick the examples from America that they want. When it's convenient for them, they pick some funny examples about America and they want us to copy. George W. Bush was governor of Texas, and a woman stabbed the boyfriend with an ice pick multiple times. Pope John Paul pleaded with George W. Bush to spare her, because the woman had become a born again in prison and was busy preaching and all that. George W. Bush was not born again himself.
Was not persuaded.
Was not persuaded. He went ahead and signed the death warrant and announced it. They had just signed her death warrant. May the Lord have mercy on her soul. That is the way it should be. If the law prescribes death for killing people the way we are seeing it, mindlessly, then find the courage. Find the courage, the same courage that you find to harass your political opponents. Find that courage to sign the death warrant. Let these people go and have a date with God. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
As long as we don't kill them,
we are not.
All this idiocy will continue.
Exactly.
Nobody is preempting anything.
But beyond even the prosecution, we need to take steps to preserve our children. Parents must take responsibility for their children.
That's another angle to the story.
Thing. Now, this is an unregistered school. Maybe the time has come for the state government, or even state governments generally, to start paying attention to this. There are so many unregistered schools. Start paying attention to the kind of people that set up schools. We don't want psychopaths or sociopaths to set up schools and then kill our children.
Feed on the children.
Exactly, feed on the children. So that has to
all kinds of people, ritual killers now setting up schools. All kinds of people.
All kinds
setting
of
up schools and hotels.
Pedophiles
are setting up schools.
And you say they have a right to belong in a country and share the same country with my home.
They're animals. They don't.
Okay, so as we are not passing moral judgment, we are saying the law must take its course. Finito.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, to our next story. We as a people are no more irritated by dementing banditry stories than we were when their saga began like a plaything a few years back. Now, some devil-may-care bandits, we hear, stormed the military base in Shimfida community of Jibia local government area of Katsina State. They stormed the military facility at about 11 in the evening. That's on Tuesday when they shot sporadically. Now, 2 military patrol vehicles were set ablaze and another driven away, which they use in conveying food items stolen from surrounding villages. A soldier was killed while an NSCDC officer was left injured. These attacks are carefully executed after a cautious planning. But we are yet to go a step ahead of these outlaws, Jide.
This community, Shimfida, was the place where I interviewed bandits in 2019.
Okay.
I've spoken about this community so many times. This is a village where a bandit leader hijacked a school that government built with taxpayers' money and is using that school as its base. Those who watch this program regularly know that I've talked about Shimfida so many times. When they killed 18 soldiers in one day in that same village, these bandits, I spoke about it. I complained that we didn't avenge the killing. Till today, we didn't avenge that killing.
Otherwise, the killing was not punished.
The killing was not punished. The bandit is still operating in the area, is still the lord of the manor in that area. They may have their issues with Tuji, with Dankremi and others who also operate in Katsina and other places. But that Jibia area, it is Dangote, the bandit that is the bandit leader. He's still in that school as we speak. In fact, I spoke with one of my sources just before I got into the studio, and he told me that he's still occupying that school. And we have not taken steps to chase him away from the place and make him pay. He killed 18 soldiers, including a captain. We didn't make him pay. So why are we surprised that they've gone to kill a soldier again?
Who
that
knows,
they've gone to kill security agents again?
What next?
So where is he going?
Who knows what next?
Are we going to wait until he goes to kill the governor before we do what is right? I just can't explain.
Oh, come on.
You steal patrol vehicles.
Exactly.
Take patrol vehicles into the forest. We can't track them.
Steal food stuff from people.
Yes, the people can. That same boy, the bandit leader, Fridays he goes to mosque to pray.
Do what?
They said he even has his own spot where
designated.
Yes,
for him alone. Paul, the natural question is, how did we get here?
That's the question. Another question to ask is, why don't we see these things before they happen? These things can
preempt them.
Yeah, exactly. These things can be preempted. Look, we talked with.
Sometimes they are preempted, and we don't take action.
Exactly, because we've also heard of intelligence reports that were not acted upon. So my question is, how long? Now this is electioneering has started. I want President Buhari to realize something, that this will define his administration. People will always remember this by the time he leaves government.
Yeah.
There was a president. We had a president in this country that anytime you talk about him, you will remember 16 billion independent power projects. You understand? that achieved nothing.
After all, you have not stopped talking about it.
Exactly. So we will keep talking about him. Look, they can sit down and talk about inflation rate dropping. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Or has it dropped?
Yeah, no, of course.
Is that your findings?
They can talk about it. Some it drops and some they can talk. I'm not saying it's dropped. They can talk about it. They can talk about the infrastructure, but nobody that they have. Nobody is going to be thinking or talking about that. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
What we care about is the state of security. You see, there's a report here by Beacon Consulting. It says that we had 574 cases of kidnappings and 431 confirmed fatalities in December 2021 alone. December, that's 1 month. And it says about 75% of these kidnappings occurred in the Northwest. And 57% of the fatalities also occurred in the Northwest.
Yeah.
These are figures that we keep having.
But Paul and Jide, let me report that an Akwa Ibom, a commuter bus marked government of Akwa Ibom State, was seized somewhere in Imo State. The passengers, 14 passengers, ferried away. Nobody has heard anything about. I'm talking about 2 weeks ago. This is still there.
Why are we always helpless? Why do we always look helpless before these people?
They could do anything to them. They could kill them for rituals.
They are not. They don't even care. They don't fear military bases.
Yeah.
Now, of course, in September, I think that happened in Sokoto. A military base was attacked.
Yeah.
Communities. Recently, we also heard of bandits writing communities that this is the amount you are owing us. This community, you are owing us 2 million. You are owing us 1.5 million. And those letters.
And they make efforts to pay.
Yes, the levies, they have to pay.
So as to avoid.
In fact, they told them that you are looking for a trouble if you don't pay your levy.
Yeah.
And nothing is done about it.
In a supposed free country. And Jide, this is supposed to be peace time.
Clearly now, we can't define what we are going through as peace. Who feels it knows it. People in communities that are constantly ravaged, they see this guy, they even come into the market to buy things. They are now used to mingling with these people. So those people can't be said to live in peace. They hear about attacks and other people being killed, their neighbors being killed.
The tension in those areas are palpable.
Yes. So look at like what happened in Kebbi State the other day. In the south of Kebbi State, these attacks keep coming. Talking about the Zuru area, these attacks keep coming. They come in from Zamfara to harass people, kill up to 40 people in one day. There was a day they killed 88 persons in Kebbi State. Just one
like
day.
That.
One day. So it's now so cheap. Life is so cheap in our country. And that's the point that the former military head of state, Abdul Salami, is making, that the Northwest has now become the epicenter of insecurity in our country.
That's what it is.
That people are being killed almost for fun. So we've got to do something.
Is gone.
Yeah, we've got to do something.
We
can't continue like this. We can't pretend that these things are not happening. What we can do is take steps to put an end to it. Because the media will keep talking about it. As long as we still have people who have conscience in the media, they won't sit down and behave like, no, it's not happening. Oh, let's not talk so that we won't offend people. Oh, let's not talk so that they won't abuse us on Facebook. Oh, let's not talk so that they won't set people against us on Twitter.
Please, we have a Dari.
We will keep talking about it.
Dari is reaching us from Kaduna. Good evening, Dari.
Dari from Kaduna.
Yeah, welcome.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening,
Elder. Send my condolences to TVC's family on the demise of your colleague, the gentle soul refugees.
Yeah.
And to Pa Kolade Ochitoji, happy birthday, Daddy. May the deeds of the Almighty over your branches never run dry in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Back to what we're discussing. You see, I watched Babajide's documentary where he risked his life to go to where the war theater, and he exhibited some of these wonderful machines that are meant for these terrorists. I mean, how can there in this country, I will say it oftentimes, that these guys are not beyond what our gallant military men and women can handle. But the political will is not there. Can you imagine, just look at the clip you showed now, racked people wielding AK-47 and AK-49 in the broad daylight in this country.
I'm feeling good.
For how long?
Feeling good.
I mean, what kind of, where is the DSS? Where is the intelligence community in Nigeria?
Oh.
If I say something about the government now, they will look for me in my house and come and pick me. But yet people are paying ransom.
Yeah.
And you can't treat these people at this spirit. I mean, how did we get here, for God's sake?
Dari, we are as devastated as you are. Okay then, Jide, so the next question, natural question is, where do we go from here? Because looks like we are waiting for the next story to break.
Oh, well, we have, at the risk of shouting ourselves worse, we have talked about steps that we can take. We are at war. We know where these guys are. Let's declare total war, not just declare it verbally. Go ahead and obliterate these people, block all their exit points.
Because it's possible.
Because when you don't do that, you say you are declaring war in Niger State. All of those places, those states are linked one another. In fact, they used to be part of the same state, the old northwestern state, Niger State, which is Nigeria's largest state today, used to be part of the old northwestern state. So you can move from Niger to Kaduna, from Kaduna to Zamfara, from Zamfara, go into Katsina, and all the way to Kebbi. You know, so this is the thing. If you don't launch a simultaneous attack, catch them by surprise. We read about warfare. When America, when Iraq invaded Kuwait, and Norman Schwarzkopf led his troops to chase them away. Many people felt that the Americans will use amphibious landing to enter Kuwait city. But they attacked on all fronts, including southern Iraq, where we had the Republican Guard, the elite troops of the Iraqi army, and they dealt with them and liberated Kuwait. That's what we should do. Attack on all fronts. All right. And make sure that we deliver victory.
Well, our business, major business as this hangout is to help mold that opinion and allow you to make up your mind. Again, I don't need to tell the military what to do because they know what to do. All right, then, let's go to our next story. For as long as the COVID-19 contagion continues to devastate mankind, for that long would we pay for disobeying simple safety protocols recommended by the World Health Organization, WHO. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has let it be known that the country recorded as many as 10,000 inbound passengers, or if you like, travelers, as of 22nd of January this year. Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, Director General of NCDC, says repeat tests has become mandatory based on the review of COVID-19 test positivity data among returnees to Nigeria during the first and subsequent waves of the pandemic. Meanwhile, WHO wants countries to lift travel bans as the bans are not effective against the spread of the pandemic. Paul.
That's true, because if you look at the spread of the disease, the rate of increase, it keeps increasing all over the world. It's only in Africa, according to WHO, that the rate of infections has dropped. I think they said it has dropped by a third or something.
Surprisingly?
Surprisingly. So I think people have got to rethink their strategies. Now, in Nigeria here, part of our problems is that we don't, I think people are very cynical, you know, very skeptical when it comes to, because sometimes when I go to the Facebook page of NCDC, I see people laughing, you know, mocking NCDC when they come up with their new figures. They just keep laughing. Some people just say,
scores.
But the thing is, There's this book that's
Only life
titled
scores.
exactly. There's this book that's titled "What You Don't Know May Be Killing You." You know, you see, people die slowly. People die without knowing. I think what we need to. I agree with the NCDC. You know, this mandatory the repeat test and all of that. But beyond all of that, everybody needs to take responsibility for themselves. People are still dying of COVID-19. That's a fact. People are dying of Omicron. People are dying of COVID-19, and we don't know who next. Now, we need to talk to ourselves. Let us be responsible for ourselves, and let be responsible for the fellow.
And let God look after all of us after we are done our bit.
Exactly. You have to play your own part. That's the truth. You have to play your own part.
Jide, you know, my mind quickly races to Australia and the Novak Djokovic saga because of what do you call it, taking the jab or not taking the jab and so on. And the man was asked to leave the country.
Yes.
So that and we are talking about inbound travelers.
I really don't get the point that the WHO
He's trying to
make. This contagion spreads fast through air travel. That was how, if for example, travel from China to other parts of the world had been stopped early
initially,
enough, yes, we would not have been in this mess. It was this same WHO that were telling us that no, this thing had not reached the level of an epidemic, that we should not
go to town yet.
Yes, that the travel ban was not necessary at that time. You can't tell the Americans now that early travel ban, as it concerns movement to and from China, was early enough, because at the end of the day, a lot of the Americans who travel a lot, especially in cosmopolitan states like New York, they have suffered for this thing. And you can see more than 862,000 Americans are dead already. So I wish we had taken some steps earlier, and I wish the World Bank, the WHO, had not even misled the world. Because I saw one of the president, I think one of the world leaders, I think from Australia, even castigating the World Bank, that at the point when it was suggested, let's put travel ban in place in China, you opposed it. Now see what we are going through. So this situation now, there is still no better way to put this matter in check without addressing the issue of travel bans, air travel. Now, look at what countries like Rwanda, even the UAE, they are very serious about this thing. Nigerians are now that we are talking about the need for a second test. Of course, if you like, do 1 million tests in Nigeria. If you are getting into UAE, that is if they even allow you to get into their country, you are going to do another test. Nobody will simply go to bed believing that your test that you have done in Nigeria means that you are clean. At the point, even at the airport, when you are mingling with people, you could still be infected.
Yeah.
So as you are landing in their country, even if you have you have a certificate indicating that you've had the PCR test, they will still subject you to a fresh test. That's the way it should be.
Let's talk about us.
That's what I'm saying. That our country, no matter what anybody's brandishing, no matter which country of the world he is coming from, we should subject them to a second test when they get here.
By us.
Yes, because that's what they do to us elsewhere.
Yeah.
Even if they've taken the jab, you should still test people. Countries that are serious about this is what they are doing. In our own case, they subject our people to those multiple tests. Yet in our country, we don't want to do it, and people are coming into our country bringing this contagion into our country.
It's crazy.
We've got to do
what
something.
we do to ourselves.
Yes,
it's crazy what
exactly.
we do.
We are doing it to ourselves, because even People
crazy.
come and they get they don't do tests and they
get fake certificates.
They get fake
and all that.
certificates. What is wrong with us? It's like sometimes it's like we want to blow up this country ourselves. We want to destroy this country as if we had another country. You know, when I look at politicians, when I look at religious leaders, they are not showing example. Look at what happened with Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
His office organized a party breaking COVID-19 restrictions. All hell was let loose. He had to apologize.
Yes.
People do it with impunity here.
Nobody
talks.
And nothing happens.
You have political gatherings, you have religious gatherings. They will say, God will bless you, God will heal you, God will cure you. Is God that foolish? Why can't we help ourselves? Is God a magician? Is God?
You willfully
exactly.
You willfully do what will subject you to tremendous pain, and then you expect God to come and.
It's like you are tempting temptation to tempt you. You are troubling trouble.
Well, if there was no
That's
God, I get the impression Nigerians will create one and program him to listen to them. It's crazy.
If somebody
Honestly,
once said
crazy.
that if Nigerians had a chance, they will bribe God.
You know,
It's
then go vote money for him.
Yes, now.
Yes, now.
They think it's like the rest of us. You see things happening in other countries, worthy examples about true governance, not misgovernance. You refuse to take those examples. It's the negative examples that you'll be talking about.
But
why can't we, the sort of thing that happened in respect of Boris Johnson, why can't we do it in our country?
I mentioned
who is that person that will try
Novak,
to do it here?
the world #1 tennis player.
Yes.
Novak.
Why did he lie?
Australians
He misled them.
No.
He misled them.
We have a responsibility.
Overwhelmingly, the judges
That's
voted
it.
that you must be deported.
You know,
They know they look face now.
and the game is on
Yes.
without him.
3 years.
We are star-struck people. We are celebrity-struck people here. We don't allow institutions to become stronger than individuals.
Yeah.
You know, and we are using
We have very strong individuals.
exactly
The untouchables.
and it should not be like that.
We have the untouchables in this country, and they are in their millions. And you hear things like, I go do am, nothing go happen.
Nothing will happen. That's why they happen.
And they are right, too.
And then once you have money to grease the palms of certain people at the airport or anywhere, you are
Happy
allowed
to let you go.
they let you go.
Let you go.
Without even thinking that the person that may be
We are just
infected
fortunate.
may be the brother or the sister of that person that let you go. It's possible.
Citizen, we are just fortunate. South Africa, out of 3.57 cases, they recorded 93,946 deaths. America, out of 69.3 million cases, they've recorded 862,000 deaths. India, out of 38.6 million cases, they've recorded 488,000 deaths. Brazil, out of 23.6 million cases, they've recorded 622,000 deaths.
I beg, add Nigeria on there.
It has pleased God that our case is not really bad. When you compare our case with all of these countries, you know that we have not.
But you must also agree we are very poor at keeping figures.
No, if beyond that, if our case was this bad, nobody will tell you.
No.
We don't have the health facilities to support. If this thing becomes a real epidemic in our country, a real contagion, we do not have the health facilities to support. To address the problem. How many? We don't have sufficient oxygen when it becomes an emergency. We don't have
ICUs,
it. So we'll be picking people on the streets.
Missing. How many ICUs do we have?
How many health centers do you have, especially in the rural areas? How many do you have? You go to some local governments, you are supposed to have primary health centers in every electoral ward. That is everywhere people line up to vote. You are supposed to have. That was the design, but we have refused to implement the plan.
If you implement the plan, Jide, money no go reach now to share for the boys. No vex, so I just rub that one in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know you know me that when I'm angry like this.
No vex.
Some of these jokes, you get as they do.
Jide, life is short. Don't make it shorter. We have had things that would shorten life more than enough in this country. Paul, let's bury this by saying it is not too late to do what is right.
Exactly.
Never too late.
Exactly. It's not too late.
Look at the figure, 18,000?
Yeah.
10,000 inbound travelers.
There was even a report that said
18,000.
The report I had was 18. I don't know. I saw
There will be more than that.
Yeah, they will actually be more than that.
Some of them will even, they won't provide their contacts. They will give you fake contacts so you can't trace them.
Yeah.
All because they just want, and it's Nigerians doing this to fellow Nigerians. You are endangering the lives of other people. You give them fake phone numbers, give them fake addresses so that no one can trace you. You know?
All right then, as we say here, the debate can continue, but we have said our bit. We leave the rest to the policymakers. Good luck. Our last story for the evening, textbook soccer buff, but the country's chief banker, who was a visitor to Super Eagles Hotel at Ribidon Camp in Garoua, Cameroon, has charged the Nigerian First 11 to leave the AFCON trophy and earn Femi Otedolas $250,000. Against all projections and permutations, the Austin Eguavoin's coach team won all 3 round-robin matches, including the first one against the Egyptian Pharaohs. Now, Alhaji Aliko Dangote was also at the camp to see the Eagles. Anything is possible. You saw the highlights of Nigeria Guinea-Bissau game. Anything is possible in sports, which combines the joy of victory with the agony of defeat. And we have at the studio now, Mien Akiri is the sports correspondent. Mien,
good to be here.
Nigeria, Tunisia at the knockout stage.
The
Something
battle,
you're looking forward to it.
Battle of the Eagles. Carthage Eagles against the Super Eagles.
Wow.
And that's a tough one on paper, you know, but from what we've seen so far, the Eagles are favorites, and then fingers crossed at this stage.
Football is not mathematics.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. GD football is not mathematics.
Yes.
But at this stage, I think the Eagles are good to go. They've made a statement.
Yes. But we've got to improve. I've never seen a Super Eagles team as wasteful as this crop of Super Eagles players. And I'm happy that even Eguavoin has said that he's not happy with the attack of the team. You can't keep throwing away chances. I've seen a Nigerian team play against Cameroon. From the first blast of the referee's whistle to the end, we were harassing the Cameroon. We dominated the game, yet we lost. That was
and only
that
goals
was
win
let me
football matches.
that was the Nigerian All African Games team, coached by James Peters. That was the match where Emmanuel Amuneke was discovered, because he was harassing them. They had no means of stopping him, and then later on they began to kick him. He got angry and he bagged the red card. But that was the match that exposed him. We had players like Patrick Mancha, you know, and the rest of them in that same team. We dominated Cameroon from first minute to the end. Just one chance they got, they buried it. We even after that we played the rest of the game in their half, yet we didn't score. A team must learn to take its chances. There are times when at the preliminary rounds you do very well.
Yeah, when the knockout
Then when you
comes.
get to the knockout stage, some of those chances that you had, you may not get them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So because teams are watching us, there's no football team without its weaknesses. Teams are watching, they're already looking at how do we tackle this Nigerians.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I know that some of the teams that we used to fear, they are out of the race.
No.
The Algerians, for example, who had such a long
and
unbeaten run.
defending champion.
Yes, they are gone. But it doesn't mean that
That
a
it's
new
over.
Yeah.
We've been in this stage
For
before.
instance, the
Remember
Gambia,
in
the
1978. Remember in 1978, it was Uganda, the Cranes of Uganda, that eliminated Nigeria from the Nations Cup, and we were among the favorites at that time,
Yeah.
having performed well at the 1976 edition. So we have to be careful. I praise them for all that they've done, but throwing away chances the way as it makes it difficult to watch.
Away chances, according to him, that's the bane of African football, marksmanship.
Well,
so many goals would have been scored from so many teams. If you saw what I mean.
That's the biggest challenge the Eagles is facing. That's what we've also seen at the AFCON tournament, where the big names, to a large extent, are finding it very difficult to put the ball in the back
for
of
instance,
the net.
Cote d'Ivoire would be meeting Egypt.
And that's a tough cracker. You're looking at the fact that the Algerians, like you mentioned, the defending champions, are out, struggled all through the tournament, couldn't score goals. And like they say, goals is the name of the game. When you score, you have an advantage. And then for the Eagles at this stage, I watched their first game against Egypt in Garoua, and they were like a team at home. They were comfortable. And some of the questions a few people have asked, even in Cameroon, is this team different from what we had under a foreign manager? And everyone says it's the same. It's the same team. What has worked for the team at this stage? And then we're saying the Nigerian team to a large extent. The weakness at this stage is converting and getting your chances. And when you talk about people coming to promise them monies, if that will indeed boost them, inverted commas, at this stage, that's another question mark that we need to discuss and look at here. But I'm happy that the players know that they need to take each game as it comes. They know there is room for improvements. And even when they are not scoring as we expect, it's a positive sign that they're not conceding so many goals, which shows the elements of a champion.
We scored 5 goals at the moment.
And we've considered one. And from the penalty spots, which
not
speaks
a bad record.
Volume.
But let's talk about the monies coming in. I know that AirPC's Oga has promised 10 million per goal. 15
million, like he told me, in Cameroon if they win the tournament.
Okay.
I spoke with him. He said yes, at halftime in the game against Egypt, he went to their dressing room and he told the players, if you win the tournament, you get 15 million. And for each goal, you get 10 million.
Look at $250,000.
$250,000
Many
Nigerians at this stage.
Convert them.
And that's about 142 million naira.
142 million naira. And some have said it's a form of distraction, even former players. Sunday Gochukwu, and the likes. We saw
debatable.
Well, debatable. When they were players, they never said it was any form of distraction. We knew the era of Sunday Gochukwu, where they fought hard to get their bonuses. Winning bonuses, match bonuses, and all that. It's a different kettle of fish at this stage. Yes, sometimes the players are old, but when the money comes, they get it. They don't have to, fight so hard like it was in the past.
I must talk about this. It is not good for us as a country, our image, to still be owing Stephen Keshi and Amadou Shuaibu, 2 of them dead, till this moment I'm speaking. Joseph Eriko
is your friend. I recall there was a day Joe Eriko was watching you on Journalist Hangout, and he said, "Mian, take the phone to him, please. I want to talk to him." That's a former coach, of a national team as big as Nigeria. It is really, really sad. It's unfortunate that we give so much respect, to the white-skinned man. We see them as foreign technical advisors. We expect that whatever they do in their country should be done here. But when they come here, it's a different ballgame entirely.
Thank you.
That's really
you are owing that same white man. Why are you not owing him?
You are owing, and he was denied entry into Nigeria.
Are you not owing him?
Well, he's been owed, but then he was paid much more.
That will always happen. That's a normal thing. That's a normal thing. When you leave your country to go and work elsewhere, you expect to earn more. Everywhere.
Results. What about in terms of results?
No, but if you want to talk about results, that's a different thing. Any foreign coach,
that's the yardstick.
Every foreign coach that comes here will earn more than the people.
But that's the yardstick.
Even American corporations that hire people all the way from India and all that, they know that they've got to pay more. That's a different thing. If a coach, he started well, we've discussed his. He lost touch later on, but that man started well, and we are not supposed to talk about him today. The issue is...
Permit me, make I just rub this in. Let's also talk about that issue of Nigerians.
Manfred Honor was here. We did not pay his salary.
Yeah.
He left this country in annoyance. That is a problem that we have. Anyone who comes, whether it's a foreign coach, you will hold him. The person that you couldn't do that to, the person that you couldn't do that to was what's his name? Westerhoff. Because the number 2 man in our country was his friend.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
No, some of them had to report to FIFA.
They report to FIFA and but the Nigerians never get theirs.
But that's a problem.
Which is worrisome.
Don't say that because somebody is a white man, they pay him. I'm telling you, foreign coaches have been here.
We owe them, but they get paid at the end of the day.
So after they reported you,
we are not playing the match here.
After they reported you to the international community, you then scramble to go.
But the Nigerians were even in debt.
Do you know that they have?
Joe Erico told me that they still personally me, I am still being.
We're not playing a match here. We must go.
Do you know that sometimes they threaten you with all kinds of sanctions
before you
pay people that are being owed?
Make we go now. Time is the master.
You talked about, let's talk about people going to get into the head of the players. It's not an ideal thing.
Yes.
Let's grow up as a people.
Yeah.
Leave the players, let the coach be able to focus on what he's doing.
And
you don't go and be politicians. They have to keep the politicians away now, so that those boys can focus on the thing. When they win, you can then come out in solidarity, give them what you want. But making all these promises.
Change the name of my street and your street, and so on. Our next match is Sunday.
It's on Sunday against the Catholics of Tunisia, 8 p.m.
Okay, we are waiting. All right, then we must go. But let me thank Paul Dada, who was here earlier on, and the backroom boys are saying thank you for watching. Join us on Sunday for a 2-hour stretch, beginning from 1:30. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones. Bye-bye.